Welcome to Portland, Maine. A place that's probably most known for its photogenic lighthouses and lobster. Lots and lots of lobster. But I bet that's not all that it's known for. So we're gonna spend a few days exploring the city of Portland and seeing what makes this place really tick. Of course, we'll still find a lighthouse to explore and eat a few lobster in the process. But to add a little more flair to this video, we're going to use your recommendations to find the best lobster rolls in Portland. We're Sarah and Tony, a traveling couple looking to see the world on a reasonable budget. And the biggest thing that keeps our travel costs low are the flight deals that we receive from FareDrop, a tool that directly notifies us of incredibly cheap flights all over the world. We've traveled to some amazing places using FareDrop, and this week we are in Portland, Maine. We're heading to the downtown wharf area of Portland this morning. There's a particular donut spot that I feel like everyone either talks about or recommends, and their donuts are a little bit different than usual donuts because they are made from Maine potatoes. So we're gonna start off the morning with a couple of sugar pills.
Thank you.
Really good.
It's a donut, but it's really dense.
Never had maple bacon donut before, but looked interesting, so I'm gonna try it. Also, everyone's ordering the chocolate sea salt one. I might get that next if I still have an appetite. Salty, sweet, pretty neat.
So we went for one more. This is blueberry glazed. It smells really good. I didn't realize my vanilla with sprinkles donut, vegan. Never would have guessed.
This one is gluten-free.
This one is gluten-free. They don't taste vegan.
Mine wasn't vegan or gluten-free. Oh.
If I have more than one donut, it's like too sweet. These are like a perfect thing because they're so dense. It's not too sweet. Our 3 donuts and 2 coffees cost around $20.
So today is more so about kind of getting our footing here in Portland and wandering around a little bit. I think we might take the ferry over to Peaks Island and see where the day takes us.
Ferry tickets cost us $14 each round trip, and luckily we decided to do this first because every local we talked to after asked us if we made it over to Peaks Island. Got to Peaks Island, we were going to rent a couple of bikes to take our time around the island, but with how hot the sun was blazing, a golf cart for a couple hours seemed like a much better idea. We rented through Mike's Cart for $100 for a couple of hours, and we even got to meet Mike himself.
If you throw it in the ocean, you owe me a golf cart. That's what all of that said.
Okay.
Now, folks who make these things, very simple and literal people. Park, stop, go.
Thank you. Mike gave us a link to an app with an island map and stops that we could make along the way on our drive. Some of those stops include local restaurants, viewpoints, and historic structures around the island.
The first of many pit stops today. This is called Whaleback, and it's kind of cool. This rock formation almost looks like petrified wood. It's like really easy to walk on too. So you can walk all the way out here to the water, right around all these rocks.
stopped by this little seaside art cart, and they have a bunch of postcards and stuff. You just pick what you want and then you can leave cash or Venmo the artist.
One of the stops on Mike's mile marker map is an old battery on the island, but it can be a bit tricky to get to. I feel like Tomb Raider or like Nathan Drake trying to finagle my way across here, but it is a little tricky, but I did make it. It's kind of cool. It's like graffiti everywhere. It's an old battery, but it's a little flooded, so you have to like hop on all these different crates to get here. It gets dark over here though. Let's see if I can get back. Whoa, this is trippy. Hello? Nope. Made it across, still dry. Our 2 hours is almost up. Time to return this cart back to Mike and then hop on the ferry back to downtown Portland. Well, it's a good thing we took an earlier ferry. It's a lot of people now, especially for the golf carts. There's a lot of people waiting for golf carts too. So if you want to get over here to Peaks, you want to get a golf cart, then take one of the earlier ferries. After a couple of hours on Peaks Island, we came back ready to eat. We could have grabbed food on the island, but we wanted to stop at one of the first of many places you all recommended to us on Instagram. Eventide is supposed to have really good oysters, but we're here for the brown butter lobster rolls. Definitely the most unique lobster roll I've ever seen. No, that's like bomb. It was really good.
We only got one because it is $20. Are we gonna regret only getting one?
Probably. We might get another. Maybe. I don't know.
And I will say this is like the most recommended lobster roll we had.
Thank you. It is good.
Wow. Now I've always been like a crab girl. Tony grew up in Maryland, so he's a crab boy. Never was a huge lobster fan. Maine is changing my mind.
Well, we were only going to do one.
About that.
About that.
No. Just kidding. Keep going. Yeah, we're going to keep going.
Those the Mai Tai and those are.
So, our total was a whopping $96. Well, $117 with the tip, which is a lot. But, I mean, that lobster roll was worth it, and it's gonna be really tough to beat that. It's time for us to do something that doesn't cost a pretty penny to make up for the early spending. So we're headed to the Portland Observatory. As soon as you walk into the observatory, they let it be known that this is not a lighthouse despite appearances. It was a tower to signal to merchants on the docks when their ships were arriving. Now, we could have done a self-guided tour and just walked the tower ourselves for $10, but a guided tour was the same price. So we got our tour from Jem here to learn some more about the history of this place.
Go all the way to the 6th floor.
Once you get to the top of the tower, you get an open-air view of the city, which is only slightly intimidating once the wind starts blowing.
Scary?
Not so much. The breeze isn't great, but... For $10, this was a really cool thing to do while visiting Portland. It was a great way to learn more about the history of the city, and the view at the top is pretty spectacular. Although this was a last-minute detour for us, we would still recommend this for anyone wanting to check out stuff that's non-food related. Okay, so walking around, I noticed a lot of fun books and stickers with this phrase, "Who farted on it?" Can anyone from Portland explain the joke? Because I'm guessing it's from the smell of the bay during certain times of the day or something.
This whole area of Old Port is super cute to walk around. I think I went into every single souvenir shop on this street because everything is adorable. This looks like a great place to grab a bite to eat or a beer even. There's just a lot to do in this area and it's, again, cute. One word to describe Portland, cute. So we are at another recommended spot by you all. This is called Duck Fat. They do have lobster rolls on the menu, but that is not why we came. People rave about the poutine here and the burgers, but we did not get burgers. We both got sandwiches. The poutine fries come loaded with locally sourced cheese curds, duck gravy, and chives. And for a little extra, we added the pan-seared crispy duck confit, which was absolutely the right choice. Holy cow. That's very good. Good crispy fries, the cheese curds, but the duck is bomb. Along with the fries, we got a couple of sandwiches. Tony got the smoked brisket, and I got a grilled cheese.
This is the House Reuben. It's got smoked brisket, sauerkraut, and Thousand Island dressing.
In total, our sandwiches, fries, and drinks cost us $80.
Downtown Portland is a very walkable area. I think we walked from the observatory down to where our ferry was.
And back.
And back.
And then again.
And then again. And then to where we had lunch and then we had dinner. But it's a good thing it is too, because there's like, what, 4 Ubers around? So
yeah, there's not a lot
there's
of
not a lot.
shares.
Yeah, so it's a good thing that you can walk around the city pretty easily.
There is also a good transit system. It seems like the bus comes pretty regularly. We just don't carry cash.
No.
Otherwise, we would be on the bus. Now, we really only have 2 full days in the area. And is that enough time to fully explore Portland? Maybe, maybe not. But the reality is sometimes 2 days is all that people have. And it, honestly, if we waited until we had what others deemed as enough time to explore a place, we'd probably never leave the house. You see, our job here is simply to give you an idea of all the incredible places that FareDrop can take you. We truly believe that there is so much value in getting out and exploring with whatever time that you might have. Whether it be a month, a week, or just a weekend in a new place, FareDrop has got you covered with flight deals all around the world. Head to the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code to get started with FareDrop and start saving money for your next trip.
Today we're headed to our first lighthouse of this trip, which happens to be the oldest in the state. Well, we said from the start you can't visit Portland without going to at least one lighthouse, so here we are this morning at a lighthouse. This is the Portland Headlight Lighthouse. I'm saying lighthouse a lot, but we're gonna go inside and give it a quick look. I do get the appeal and why people say these are the most photographed lighthouses in America because the backdrop is absolutely gorgeous.
I'm taking photos.
Another lighthouse way out there somewhere.
So there is a museum that you can go in for $2 for an adult, $1 for kids. You cannot go in the top of the lighthouse because it still is actually used and owned and operated by the US Coast Guard, but you can learn a lot in the museum itself. And I have heard that some people actually prefer Two Lights State Park and that lighthouse as opposed to the Headlight. So that's an option to visit as well if you have a car on your trip.
This lighthouse was commissioned by George Washington in 1791, and the museum is located in the former keeper's house. It takes no more than a few minutes to explore the whole thing, but still it's an interesting piece of history. So Fort William State Park has a bunch of food trucks here. I think we're gonna stop into Bite into Maine because that's another place that you guys recommended that we try lobster rolls. So that's where we're gonna eat and we're gonna grab a couple lobster rolls.
Sure. And a 4.5 ounce of Connecticut.
Fabulous. Anything else?
We'll do 1 whoopie pie.
1 whoopie pie.
And 2 waters.
And 2 waters. Awesome.
Bite into Maine has 6 different types of lobster rolls. We got the Maine roll, which has mayo and chives, and the Connecticut roll, which has lots of warm butter. Both look delicious.
Oh, it's cold. It's cold lobster. The butter. It's like a Texas toast, almost. The lobster's cold, which is different. I don't know if that's different. It's different from the one other lobster roll I've had, but it's still very good. Outside of Maine, I've experienced lobster to be like too chewy for me. I have not experienced that here.
I don't know why the one with mayo is the first one I choose, but here we go.
It has chives.
He does have chives. I used to not like lobster because it was chewy. This is labs.
And for dessert, we got a whoopie pie. And if you're not familiar with a whoopie pie, it is essentially like 2 chocolate cake type pieces with a white cream filling. I did a quick Google because I am familiar with whoopie pies from Pennsylvania, as I am pretty sure they're an Amish dessert delicacy.
Cakes and pies, cakes and pies. Cakes kind of taste like Hostess. What's the roll ones with the cream?
Swiss cake roll?
Swiss cake rolls. Kind of tastes like a Swiss cake roll, marshmallow fluff.
Okay. It's probably, my teeth are probably so gross. What I particularly like about this is it's more chocolate than filling. I'm a part of probably 1% of the population that thinks the cookie on an Oreo is better than the cream filling. 1%. So this is right up my alley because it's more cookie than cake. We're more cake than cream. Seafood isn't cheap. We knew that going in, especially with lobster. So the 2 rolls, whoopie pie, and a couple of waters cost us $73. With all the lobster in Maine, it almost seems like a rite of passage to go lobstering ourselves, so that's where we're heading. We booked a 90-minute lobstering excursion with Lucky Catch Cruises for $50 a person.
Put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew harder, bowed it down, blowing bully boys blow. Soon may the weatherman come, bring his sugar and tea and rum. One day when the time is down, take our leave and go.
So with your ticket, you get to go on the lobstering boat and really help with the whole lobstering experience, from setting the traps, pushing the traps in the water, to banding the lobsters, learning the difference between male and female, measuring them, and then eating them. That's later.
That's so fresh!
He's kind of fresh.
Pig,
So Steve, we could have gone straight through tonight.
Thank you so much.
Then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to fall to the floor of the traps, and then from this position it's going to be difficult to get back out the way they entered. So their next move is to walk up the second ramp and land in the back of the trap. These little slots here, this one on the door, these are measured escape vents that by law have to be a minimum size. Watch carefully to see where this point lands when we set it down. If that touches on the back, the lobster's big enough. If it touches below the back, it's too short.
In addition to learning the ins and outs of lobstering, we got to see the local residents sunbathing on some rocks. And a few hungry seagulls. There we go! Drop it! Ah, go!
Originally, our plan was to buy the lobster on board and head over to Portland Lobster Co., but we have just one meal left here while we're in Portland, Maine. So we are going to check off another one of your recommendations, and this came very highly recommended. We are heading to High Roller.
Because we're high rollers.
Not. High Roller is another restaurant we walked away from loving. They have a ton of creative lobster dishes like
Lobster grilled cheese, lobster taco, lobster roll lights, crab roll. That's it for lobster roll.
we ended up with the lobster cheese shell taco and the lobster grilled cheese sandwich.
Got a lobster and mac and cheese, grilled cheese.
This lobster taco is one of the best things I ate on this trip, next to the lobster roll I had at Eventide. But overall, I haven't been disappointed in any of the lobster we've had. And of course, we have to give you the total, which came out to $94 before tip. Well, as stated early on, this isn't your typical budget-friendly video from us.
Still, again, I am just going to hone in on the fact that even if you have just a weekend free, FareDrop is a great resource to sign up for because you have a ton of both domestic and international flight deals that you can utilize to fill any free time that you might have in your schedule.
Scan the QR code that'll be up here somewhere, and you can get started on your FareDrop journey today.
You click the link or scan the QR code.
You scan the link.
Scan the link.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He was like, "Want me to pour some butter on top of it?" I was like, "Sure." And he said, so this one's gonna be good.
Lobster's a little pricey, but it sure is delicious.